Are your players overconfident? Do they refuse to make backup characters because they have no fear of death? Worst of all, do they like casting Silvery Barbs? Sounds like you need the Demogorgon, Slayer of... Wait, sorry, wrong one. Sounds like you need Demogorgon, Demon Lord of Destruction and Slayer of D&D party since 1976. This two-headed master of chaos is guaranteed to annihilate your players and teach them a thing or two about humility. Don't believe me? Here's everything Demogorgon has to offer. Let's start with the basics, because Demogorgon's Monsters of the Multiverse package is robust. You want a lawyer who can take argument after argument and counter every time, and this Demon Lord is built for those long court cases. He's got 464 hit points to burn through, and that's only if your players can get past his AC of 22. Even when they do breach those defenses, any non-magical bludgeoning, piercing, or slashing damage is getting thrown out immediately, as well as poison. You don't need diplomatic immunity when you already have regular ones. But how about a wizard's fireball or the sorcerer's lightning bolt? Nice try, but Demogorgon's been around for a long time. He's got a permanent injunction against most of the common damage types your mages might try on him. So fire, lightning, and cold damage, the ones your players probably use a lot, are getting resisted. And don't even think about trying to throw him off his game. Any attempt to charm or frighten them is going to fail. If they're on trial, they're locked in. But hey, there are plenty of spells that do more than deal damage. Surely your players can use those to bolster their case, right? Wrong. Demogorgon has magic resistance, granting advantage on all saving throws against, you guessed it, magic. And with a plus 10 or higher to 4 out of 6 saves, this guy is weaseling his way out of so many tight spots. And even if they do somehow catch Demogorgon slipping, as the kids say, he's got 3 legendary resistances, so they'll just object to whatever your party is doing. You think a judge is going to overrule him? No chance, pal. A lot of lawyers like to work with a team. Vecna and Kaz, Orcus and Sons, you get the picture. Well, Demogorgon has all of them beat, because they can literally pair with themselves. He's got 2 heads, and when you're putting 2 brains with 20 intelligence on every case, that comes with some benefits. They get advantage on any save to avoid being deafened, blinded, stunned, or knocked out. I know a lot of lawyers get flack for all their doublespeak, but having 2 mouths really takes it to the next level. But Demogorgon's not just here to get a hung jury, they want a conviction, and that means death. Helping them do that is their big old tentacle arms. That is the legal term if you're wondering, and they can take 2 swings every turn. That's plus 17 to hit, an average of 28 force damage, sorry barbarians, and they'll need to make a DC 23 con save or see their max HP drop by whatever amount of pain they just took. Talk about damages, am I right folks? Like literal damage. Of course, those tentacles will only work on your players within 10 feet of the big guy. What about those cowards who want to hide on the bench and never take the stand? Well, as long as the Demogorgon can see them, anyone within 120 feet is in trouble, because he can replace one of those tentacle attacks with a magical gaze, choosing between 3 options that each require a DC 23 wisdom save to resist. There's Beguiling Gaze, which can stun a player until the Demogorgon's next turn, or Confusing Gaze, causing them to roll a d10 on their turn to determine what they do, usually just running in a random direction, attacking someone next to them, or literally nothing. And last but not least, they have Hypnotic Gaze, giving Demogorgon full control over the target till the demon goes again. What's that? Looks like the rogue is testifying against the party this round. Sneak attack's not so fun now, is it? And even when your party gets to go, Demogorgon can cross-examine any player they want. They have 2 legendary actions to spend each round, either on their Beguiling or Confusing Gaze, or a tail attack, which deals on average 20 bludgeoning and 11 necrotic damage. But that's not all, because if they really want to go all in to get a conviction, they can use both at once to cast a spell. Maybe Dispel Magic to remove pesky concentration spells, Fear, just to really hammer home what your players should be feeling, or even Feeble Mind, which can completely remove a caster from the trial. Demogorgon's not looking for a settlement, your party's going down. And don't forget, Demogorgon in any courthouse is scary, but if you can fool your players into facing him on his home turf, they might not even make it to the trial. He can use a lair action each round, either filling the chamber with darkness, which he can see in thanks to True Sight, or creating an illusion of himself that has a 50% chance of tricking the players into hitting it instead of the big bad. Sure, property costs are crazy these days, but it's worth it when your law firm puts in this much work. Now I know you must be diving for your phone ready to hire Demogorgon. First off, he doesn't have a cell, so you need to contact him via blood ritual, but more importantly, here are some best practices to keep in mind when you decide to sick this demon lord on your players. While his attacks have the potential to do a lot of damage, Demogorgon is at most attacking 4 times across a round. If your party has a lot of high-powered players, they'll probably outdamage him, so consider pairing the demon with other fiends like Barlguras or Kazme. He could use some paralegals, and you can even give them the 2 Minds of Chaos trait that grants advantage on all intelligence, wisdom, and charisma saves. So that's pretty neat. Second, remember that Demogorgon's gazes only last until the start of his next turn, not the end. If you use Beguiling Gaze, doing it before his tentacles or tail act that round can grant you advantage on whatever victim ends up stunned. And be careful not to accidentally use one of your legendary actions to stun or confuse a player who's already gone. At that point, it's mostly wasted. Besides those gazes, which don't actually deal any damage, Demogorgon doesn't have a lot of great range options. Again, you could give him some minions that can fly or attack from afar. But if you really hate your players, he does have a swim speed of 50 feet, so who says his law firm can't be underwater, where the party will mostly be attacking with disadvantage, struggling to move, and otherwise having a bad time. And finally, Demogorgon might be a demon lord, but you're something even stronger. The Dungeon Master. You have the power to modify this monster to be even stronger, so for very high level parties, or ones with a lot of players, I'd suggest giving him a full 3 legendary actions per round, and letting him use a gaze in addition to both tentacle attacks, not instead of one. Your players can take it. Or not, that's kind of what we're going for here. If you need your party to get wrecked and you want it done right, then hire Demogorgon. Would some people try to convince you that this is overkill and it's actually not a big deal that your players didn't like your DMPC? Maybe. Are those people dumb? Definitely. Demogorgon, when one head just isn't enough. Demogorgon is not liable for any slashes, untold destruction, or bouts of insanity that occur while working a case. Payment should be made in the form of human hearts delivered directly to the abyss. Demogorgon does not accept cases involving level 20 bards, rival demon lords, or the wish spell. If your blood sacrifice goes to voicemail, please hang up and try again. Oh, and crit your players.